Hello, good morning everyone. So I'm back with my next video, that is the third one. Okay, so in my previous video I was talking about Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, I gave a brief overview of what actually Anglo-Saxon period consisted of. Then I gave a brief overview of Anglo-Saxon literature, okay, like the manner and the nature of Anglo-Saxon literature. I also told you that the poetry from Anglo-Saxon period, it is divided into two parts. One was religious poetry and another was pagan poetry, okay. And I also gave you an example or three examples from both of these phases, okay. One was Beowulf, okay. Beowulf is an example of pagan poetry, okay. So now in this video I'd like to just narrate, or not exactly narrate, but I'd like to give you the overview, okay, and the most important information that you need to know of the poem, that is Beowulf. Okay, so first thing first, Beowulf, it is an old English poetry, okay. It belongs, or it is an Anglo-Saxon poetry, okay, which is a pagan one, okay, and it is the oldest, okay, the oldest poem in English language, okay. So you remember this point, okay. This point is very important. And one more thing, before it kind of like achieved its written form, okay, it was orally transmitted from one person to another person for almost hundreds of years. So remember this point, okay. Like it is like only in the end of 9th and 10th century that it got its written form, okay. So these things should be remembered by you, okay. Like if you are like appearing for any kind of competitive exam, okay, these are the like strange and the very unique questions they ask, okay. And this poem, it consists of 3000 lines, okay, more than 3000 lines, I'd say, okay. So remember this point also, okay. So the poem, that is Beowulf, okay, it is a story, okay. And more often it is known as an epic poem, okay. Why epic? Because it is a long narrative poem, okay, number one. Number two, it is based on a folk legends, okay. Please remember this point, okay, because Anglo-Saxon literature, okay, it had this characteristic of bringing down the mythological stories and the folk legends into the literatures, okay, and in like basically incorporating those things in the literature, understood. So this is one of a kind, okay. Beowulf was one of the poems which incorporated a folk legends, okay. It was about a king, and the name of the king was Hrothgar. Please remember the name of the king, Hrothgar, okay. So this is the name of the king, okay. So it is based on the king, okay, and it is the story of King Hrothgar and the people, okay, his thanes and his subjects, understood. How like they were living a good life, okay, and ultimately what happened, the rage of a monster called Grendel, okay, it befall on them, and then the disaster, and then the crisis, the emotional, the physical crisis, it got started, understood. So this is what you need to remember, okay. Then how, like why this poem is titled as Beowulf? Because Beowulf is a king, okay. He, like in the initial phase, he was not a king, he was just a hero. Like people call him, like used to call him a hero, because he is filled with brave, okay, bravery. He was very brave, very strong physically, and also intellectual level was very, like it was at par excellence, understood. So this is how like people remember Beowulf, and this is why the poem is titled as Beowulf, because it was based on the life of Beowulf, how Beowulf saved the people of Hrothgar's kingdom, okay, when that monster kept on attacking them, okay. Like it was almost for 12 years, okay. That is like if you read the poem, okay, like it is not actually like available now, but then yeah, in most of the texts, okay, in most of the history books, you'll find the instances of this story, okay, of this poem, that is Beowulf, okay. So you'll find that this Beowulf, okay, like this, like in this poem, okay, Grendel the monster, okay, Grendel, okay, Grendel the monster, it like attacked and kept on attacking the place, the kingdom of Hrothgar, for almost 12 winters. So when I say 12 winters, that means 12 years, right? So after that, Beowulf came to their rescue, okay, and then he killed that monster Grendel, okay. But ultimately there was this sequences and the instances of taking revenges by the monsters and his family, okay, on the people of that is like a place called Herod, okay. Why Herod? Because Rodger the king, okay, he actually built a mid hall, MEAD mid hall, okay, where people go and make merrymaking, like people merry make, okay, like people go for enjoyment and all, okay. They enjoy the feasts where whichever has been like kind of conducted in that hall, okay. And mid hall, which used to be a place of enjoyment, happiness and all, it ultimately turned into a place like where like you'll already find disasters, understood. So it probably turned into a desert, like a desert, understood. So that is why King Rodger's friend's nephew, okay, like Beowulf was King Rodger's friend's nephew. So Beowulf, when he heard that a monster named Grendel has been attacking the place or the kingdom of Rodger, okay, and the middle, that is Herod, Herod, okay, Herod. So it is my duty and responsibility to go there and save them from the monster. So he ultimately came to that land and he saved all of the people. But then again, when he becomes a king, Beowulf, when he becomes a king, he rules over the kingdom, his kingdom and subjects all for almost 50 years. But after 50 years, okay, another monster, okay, another monster, it kind of came and attacked his kingdom, Beowulf's kingdom, okay, because that monster believed that someone has stolen a stone, okay, from the mountain deep, like from the deep mountain, which was probably protected and preserved by that monster for almost 300 years, understood. And that is why his belief uh, on the fact that the people of that kingdom have stolen that stone, so he is now back with his furious nature and rage, okay, to revenge on those people, okay. So ultimately Beowulf kind of, yeah, because he has reached his old age, right? So he has like lost a lot of physical strength, okay, but still he kind of went, okay, and killed that monster. But then ultimately he also got wounded by that monster, okay. So the poem basically ended with a note, okay, yeah, in a tragic note and in a victorious note. Why? Because the Beowulf, okay, the king Beowulf, okay, even though he also, okay, died, okay, after he killed that dragon, because that dragon basically what do I say, it attacked Beowulf with the fire that was coming from his mouth, okay, and that was very dangerous and poisonous, okay, and that is why Beowulf couldn't survive that, okay. So ultimately, but then even before his death, he kind of murdered and killed that dragon, okay. So ultimately the victory was on the part of Beowulf, okay. And the poem, it basically ends with a note of paying homage and tribute to Beowulf, understood. So this is why the poem is very very important. And remember that this poem is the oldest surviving epic of English language, okay. This is very important, okay. So you all please note down these points, okay, because these are the important information that, like, no one would ask you the story, okay, like everyone would be asking you the specific and the very detailing of all these texts, okay, because they are from the old English period, okay. So you need to know the detailed informations from them, okay. It's not like you need to you always like knowing story is good, okay, but then it doesn't work for any kind of examinations. If you are reading or like, yeah, knowing and gathering knowledge is very very fine, okay. That is what I'm doing, that I'm sharing the things that I know. But the thing is that you need to also note down the points which are very very important for you and which are useful for you, understood. So this poem, okay, like the most important points to remember from this poem is that this poem is a pagan poem, it is not a Christian poem, okay? Though you'll find some instances of Christianity in the poem, but then it is a pagan poem. Okay, number one. Number two, it has a lot of alliterative rhymes. Okay, like alliteration has been used in these poems. Okay, and mostly, like let me tell you the fact that mostly the writings from the Old English period. Okay, they consisted of, or they consist of alliterations. Okay, like they're not free of alliterations. Okay, let me give you some more examples from this category. I hope those who are probably doing their masters or yeah, I have done their graduation. Okay, I think they're aware of that. There are 3 or 4 poems. Okay, Pearl, Purity, Patience. Okay, and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Okay, so these are 4 poems which are like, they are the examples. Okay, prominent examples. Okay, of alliterative poems. Okay, why alliterative? Because alliteration is like Pearl. See, the first letter is a consonant one. Okay, so there is this repetition of these consonants. Okay, Pearl, Purity, Patience. Okay, so that is why they are known as alliterative poems. Okay, this device has been used in this poem, Beowulf. Okay, next point would be, this is the oldest surviving epic of English language. Okay, next point would be, this is the first and the oldest poem of English literature. Okay, and that is why it kind of like gives us a social history of northern Europe. Understood? Because it tells us the story of those period and the tribal people, okay, who are living in that period. Understood? So this is also one of the texts which give us the idea of how the tribal people used to live. Okay, and what was their lifestyles and all. Understood? And that is why it is very important to know all of the points. Okay, and thank you for the patience. Okay, and thank you for listening to me, and I hope this much is like kind of clear to you. And if you have any kind of doubts, obviously I'm open to all, and you can just mention them in the comment section, and I'll be reverting back. Okay. Okay, so whenever we talk about Anglo-Saxon prose, okay, 2 names are very, very important. One is Alfred the Great and another is Bede. Okay, so if I have to talk about Bede, then Bede was a person, Bede was a writer, okay, who, and do remember that prose came after poetry, okay, in that period, okay, in England, prose came after poetry, okay, much later to poetry, okay. So Bede, like he wrote almost like more than 40 yeah, he had more than 50, like 40 works, okay, in his credit. Okay, and the most important, or one of the most important works, okay, of Bede is the Ecclesiastical History of England. You can just if we were reading some books of like, or history books, okay, you'll find the names there. Okay, and the other is Alfred the Great. Okay, Alfred the Great, he basically one of his famous works is the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. Okay, where you'll find the historical accounts of Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, like the people's lifestyle. Okay, and the culture of Anglo-Saxon period and all. Okay, so do remember these 2 writers. Okay, these 2 prose writers. And coming to the characteristic of prose writings, okay, so it was pretty much similar to what poetry used to consist of. Okay, but then yeah, it also got diverted in the fact that prose writings, okay, they basically, obviously we all know that proses are the non-fiction one. Okay, like basically most often proses are in non-fiction form. Okay, non-fiction manner. So that means they used to reflect on the reality of Anglo-Saxon people, okay, and the Anglo-Saxon society. Okay, so do remember these points. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to this video, and I hope that the video has been useful to you, and I hope that you kind of have learned at least a few things newer. And yeah, like if you have anything to say or comment on my videos, you can go on, and like your comments and your feedbacks and criticisms, constructive criticism, are also welcome. And I hope to like address all of the important issues, okay, related to English literature. Okay, and by English literature, again, I do not mean the literatures only from England. Okay, the literatures, okay, it has a lot of spheres, it has a lot of aspects, so I'd address all of the things. Okay, and I hope that I can honestly actually address all of the issues and concepts and everything, okay, that is there in under the sphere or under the canon of literature. Okay, thank you everyone, and take care of yourself, and we'll meet in the next video. Okay.